good skin care routine is only as good as the products you use. While good quality products can help your skin look better now as well as in the future, poor quality products can be ineffective and even cause harm. On Friday tonight, we talk everything skincare. My guest is an entrepreneur and CEO of luxury botanical skincare line that is made in Kenya by Kenyan skin experts. Her name is Hanim Mohammed. Welcome to the program, Hanim.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
Let me ask you this question. What benefits do quality skincare products provide?
It's very important, first of all, to know your skin type because, as you said, it could cause harm on yourself. So very first step, know your skin type and then seek professional advice.
Well, there you have it. Keep it Friday for that discussion and more later on in the program. Good evening. My name is Karen Karimi. Engage with us on Twitter and Facebook. And you can also watch us live on our Facebook handle and YouTube TV47 Kenya. The headlines this 29th of July. Tonight,
we shall only use one booklet, the first booklet for purpose of transmission of results for presidential election.
IBC now says extra Form 34A will not be used in the August election. Also tonight,
Mr. President, please stop talking about me. Talk about your candidate.
Stop antagonizing me. Deputy President William Ruto now tells President Uhuru Kenyatta, urges him to retire peacefully. Plus, President Kenyatta presides over KDF Trooping of Color ceremony.
We remember what our national flag stands for. Never forget that our nation depends on each and every one of you.
Praises KDF for a job well done. Welcome to the program. Catherine Simaloy is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now, to our top story, the Independent Elections and Boundaries Commission now says that the extra printed forms 34A and 34B will not be used in the August polls. This follows a meeting with representatives of presidential candidates at the Bomas of Kenya today. Chairperson Wafula Chebukati assured presidential candidates that extra forms that had sparked protests from political parties will not be used in the next general election. William Moige with more.
After several hours of a stalemate between the IEBC and the representatives of the presidential candidates, a consensus was finally arrived at between all the stakeholders present in the Friday meeting held at the Bomas of Kenya, with IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati now saying the commission will not use the second booklet of Form 34A. The bone of contention was the printing of extra Form 34A and 34B. Both the Azimio la Umoja coalition and Kenya Kwanza leaders had earlier raised a red flag, forcing the polls body to call for an urgent meeting.
The fears have been expressed and we have had a lengthy discussion, and the outcome of that discussion is that we shall only use one booklet, the first booklet for purpose of transmission of results for presidential election. We shall only use one booklet from 34A for purpose of transmitting presidential results for purpose of the 2022 elections.
Agents representing all four factions that will participate in the presidential race, including Azimio and Kenya, Kenya Kwanza, Agano and Roots Party, all in agreement with the IEBC's chairman, noting they have come to an amicable agreement over the matter.
We've resolved amicably the issues that were on the table, and we are ready to walk the journey the next couple of days to when the elections will be conducted on 9th of August.
The spirit of cooperation and transparency that was showed here today, we hope continues. He has assured us that it will continue. We believe him.
IBC iendelee kuwa transparent na waweze kuongea na Wakenya kila wakati.
However, Wafula Chebukati gave a detailed explanation and reasons for the commission move to print more copies of Forms 34A, further explaining how the Form 34B will be used in the August 9 election.
The second booklet will be sealed on arrival at the polling station in a tamper-proof envelope and will be kept in the ballot box and sealed together with the materials at the end of polling. So the second booklet will not be used. Now, on the usage of the first booklet, the original will be brought to the National Tallying Center for purposes of verification of results by the National Presidential Returning Officer.
With only 10 days left before the general August polls, IEBC has called on all stakeholders to give their inputs and suggestions as election preparations enter home stretch. With IEBC coming to a consensus with all presidential candidates' agents, the poll agency has promised to deliver free, fair and credible elections in the August 9 general elections. Mwige William, TV47 from the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi.
Moving on, Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga has distanced himself for clips doing rounds on social media, claiming that he will fight Christianity if elected president. Speaking when he met members of the clergy in Machakos County, the Azimio flag bearer said the remarks were taken out of context. Here is Lucky Heriano with more.
Raila has distanced himself from a video clip circulating on social media platforms where it is alleged he castigated religious leaders in the church, noting that the church has played an important role in nation building, constitution protection, indicating that he respects all the denomination in the country, and was misquoted.
There's a clip that is now showing around. I was addressing a group of Muslim women who came to see me. And they are complaining about discrimination. Just putting this in historical context, I did not want to use this against the Christians today. So somebody has picked that comment, me addressing the Muslim women, and I want to use it that I'm trying to discriminate against Christianity. No.
I've seen a letter from, they call them the Atheist Society. Yani wale hawaamini Mungu kabisa. Hata shetani nadhani hawaamini. There's a society called the Atheist Society. And you can see this is a doctored document, complete with a clip, which is meant to influence the feelings of believers. I'll never shy away from saying I'm a follower of Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has assured all the workers in the country that President Uhuru Kenyatta directive on a 12% salary increment will be implemented by the Azimio government.
Sheria zetu, mnakumbuka juzi wakati wa Labor Day tumepata 12%. Waajiri wengi hawaja implement hiyo percentage. Na mnajua wakati Mama Martha Karua na Raila wote walikuwa katika bunge, ndio walileta ile maternity leave na paternity leave. Hawa ndio walileta. Na mkiniona hapa ni kwa interest ya mfanyikazi wa Kenya. Hawa ndio watatuokoa. Pana wale wengine ni washanzi sana.
Raila tarehe 10 nataka nione weka.
The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya running mate Martha Karua has urged Kenyans to distance themselves from the Kenya Kwanza leaders, saying they have questionable integrity.
Tujue mwizi wa mali ya umma ni mbaya kushinda mwizi wa mali kidogo. Anafanya Wakenya walio wengi wakufe kwa kukosa dawa. Anafanya watoto wetu walale njaa na wengine wakufe njaa.
The Azimio la Umoja Brigade will conclude its tour of Machakos County by hosting rally before heading to Mlolongo. Lucky Heriano reporting for TV47.
Also tonight, Deputy President William Ruto has lashed at his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, over a series of remarks allegedly made by the head of state. In a bare-knuckle response to the first-in-command, the gloves were off, with Ruto telling Kenyatta to stop threatening him and instead focus on his retirement. Elizabeth Mutuku has more.
10 days to the August 9th polls, the political drum beats are getting louder by day. Deputy President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza Brigade traversing the counties of Nandi, Busia and Bungoma. Ruto taking a swipe at President Uhuru Kenyatta for what he claimed are constant threats, urging Uhuru to stay away from the succession politics.
Mr. President, please stop talking about me. Talk about your candidate. Tunaelewana? Mtuambie wewe rais, utuambie huyu mtu wa kitendawili atawacha kung'oa reli lini? Atawacha kujiapisha lini? Atawacha kuvuruga Kenya lini? Atawacha mambo ya violence lini? Na utuambie agenda ya huyo jamaa. Wachana na William Ruto. I supported you when you needed a man to support you. If you do not want to support me, leave me alone. Ni kweli ama si kweli?
Without mincing his words, Ruto told his boss to stop antagonizing him and instead to focus on his preferred candidate Raila Odinga.
Kama tunaelewana, namwambia rafiki yangu Uhuru Kenyatta, my friend, please, wakati ulikuwa unahitaji watu wa kusimama na wewe, tulisimama na wewe to the man. Huyo kitendawili unatusukumia saa hizi, huyo ni jamaa ambaye amehangaisha Kenya na hata alikuhangaisha wewe. Hatuwezi kukubali wewe kutusukuma. Na mimi nataka nimwambie rais, wacha kuniletea maneno my friend. Wewe sukuma candidate yako bwana kitendawili.
Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza brigade chided their opponents for their overly demands to the IEBC, saying they have sensed defeat, hence unreasonable demands, a drill they claim has been persistent in previous elections.
Mr. President, we want you to make sure and you instruct your Minister for Communication, wakikaa na Chiloba, ambaye ni Director of the Communications Authority, Mr. Mucheru Chiloba, and Mr. President, we do not want the airwaves to be disturbed during this process of election.
Nani hajui wewe ni rais wa Kenya kwa miaka 9 iliyopita? Wewe jipange polepole, wachana na IEBC ifanye kazi yake. Tarehe 9 ufunge virako uende Gatundu, tukipeleka mzee wa kitendawili Bondo. Kwa sababu Kenya wameamua, we are not going to allow an outgoing president to determine and meddle in the elections of this country.
Further, the Kenya Kwanza team has promised to deal with high cost of living once they ascend to power.
Sikia ule mtu unashindana na yeye. Si alitoroka debate. Si ndio yule ameanza tena lukumba ako na shida na IEBC. Mara anasema ako na shida na sijui Jabukati. Mara anasema ako na shida na register. So unajua ameanza ile story yake tena. Anataka kukataa matokeo ya uchaguzi. Kwa sababu ameona kura haitoshi.
Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the Kenya Defence Forces has today bid farewell to President Uhuru Kenyatta in a colourful military parade. The president later presided over a trooping of the colour ceremony by the 21st Battalion and the Kenya Rifles at the Ulinzi Sports Complex in Lang'ata, Nairobi. Paul Manu with more.
President Uhuru Kenyatta officially opened the Kenya Army Band headquarters and Defence Forces School of Music in Lang'ata today, where he not only attended a music class but also led a band. On arriving at the Lang'ata grounds in what will be one of his last as the Kenyan president, Uhuru was accorded a guard of honor by the Kenya Defence Forces troops. He would later preside over the trooping of the colors by handing a ceremonial flag to the 21st Battalion.
Afisa atakayebeba bendera ya rais ya kikosi cha 21 na kuweza kupeana heshima yake kwa bendera hii.
The president in his speech, however, lauded the Kenyan military for its commitment to defend the nation.
The award of these colors is a significant milestone in the development of these units, which have participated in various operations and effectively executed the KDF mandate to defend and protect our territorial integrity.
Paul Munio, TV 47.
Now, research firm Trends and Insights for Africa now says Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga is the most preferred presidential candidate at 46.7%, followed by UDA flag bearer William Ruto at 44.4%. Chapter Boyd with the details.
If elections were held today, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga would emerge the first. That is according to the latest opinion polls by research firm TIFA. According to TIFA, Raila enjoys a popularity rating of 46.7% compared to William Ruto of UDA, who is rated at 44.4%. According to TIFA, Raila's numbers have been constantly growing from February, contrary to DP Ruto's numbers, which have been varying.
The family of those who are intending to vote for Raila it's a larger family. It's got more members. Until a later stage in the campaign, the deputy president was saying, if you're going to support me, you have to be in UDA. It was only when he was able to successfully invite former Vice President, Deputy Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi, and Senator Moses Wetangula that he accepted ANC and Ford Kenya.
Raila enjoys immense support in Nyanza, Coast, Lower Eastern, Nairobi, South Rift and Western, while his main opponent William Ruto receives support from Central Rift and Mount Kenya regions. In matters gender, 51% of male voters would vote for Raila, while 42% of female voters would vote for him. 43% of male voters would vote for Ruto, while 46% of the female would vote for him, 3% higher than Odinga's female voters. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition has a popularity of 47%, while Kenya Kwanza coalition has 42%. However, UDA party has a commanding lead of 41%, followed by ODM, which comes a distant second with 34%. The poll was conducted between 21st and 26th July and involved 2,056 respondents. The cost of living in the country continues to be a challenge, with Kenyans optimistic that the next government will address the issue, which has largely been blamed on President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. Chepto Boyd, TV47, Nairobi.
Away from that, now thousands of university students in the country have enrolled in Chinese language classes in a bid to enhance communication between the two countries, which will in turn be effective in strengthening trade ties. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, China has vowed to help Kenya in matters development despite the pending debt.
Kenya has been closely working with China in various government infrastructural projects. These close ties has forced Kenya to embrace learning of the Chinese language, aimed at improving communication between the two countries.
大家好，欢迎来 Nairobi 大学孔子学院. We can study all of us.
It is now over 10 years since the universities of Nairobi, Kenyatta, Moi and Egerton introduced the Confucius Institutes, where over 19,000 students have benefited from learning the Chinese language. A further 2,400 students have since been enrolled in Chinese universities under scholarship.
Since its establishment, the institute has enrolled well over 19,000 students. The institute at the university has continued to train talented and excellent Chinese language students. And you have seen some of them here, how they have performed very excellently.
The future of Chinese language here is very big because many students are enrolling. Every year we're getting more and more students.
A section of students currently in session have expressed their absolute pleasure in learning the language, saying it will help enhance their communication skills and grant them employment opportunities in Chinese business entities, both locally and internationally.
It's been good because I've gotten to learn a lot. When you get to think in multiple languages, you become a different person.
Apart from the courses we offer, we organize a lot of activity. They can experience the Chinese culture. They think it is very good way.
So some challenges about learning Chinese. Number one, it's the general idea that Chinese is difficult. Because they don't have alphabets, we call them characters, the hands, and they have 4 tones that make it a bit new when you're learning the language.
China has not only invested in education but also in health, agriculture and infrastructure sectors. China has invested trillions in government projects, including the $668 million Nairobi Expressway, $3.2 billion standard gauge railway and other landmark buildings in Nairobi.
In China, with the conducive environment here, business environment here, you will have a lot of potential business partners in this area. So that's one thing.
In 2015, Kenya became China's biggest trading partner, and in 2016, the trade volume between Kenya and China reached $5.7 billion, up from $500 million in 2006.
I'm very happy last year, the Kenyan exports to China increased by more than 50%.
The Chinese ambassador now states that the trade between the two countries will continue despite the pending debt. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that report. Now, 33% of women have listed injectables as their most preferred method of contraceptive, according to the 2021 survey findings by the Performance Monitoring for Action, that's the PMA. Now, according to the PMA, majority of Nairobi women have shunned condoms and they are no longer using it to plan their families. Budhoni Maina with the details.
According to the survey findings on the use of contraceptives by women in Nairobi County, injectables took the lead at 33%, followed closely by implants at 32%, birth control pills at 20%, and IUDs trailing at 9%. However, majority of women have embraced the use of injectables, following their approval by majority of men. However, majority of those interviewed shunned the use of male condoms.
Male condoms was the most discontinued method. About more than a third of those who discontinued methods, they discontinued from using male condoms, followed by injectables, then pills. So that is the beauty and the power of having panel studies.
The use of contraceptives at large has seen an increase of 7% in married women. The survey targeted 697 women who took part in the first survey in 2019, having a follow-up of 417 women in the same category between November and December 2021.
2021, out of the total demand, that is, out of 10 women who had a demand for family planning or contraceptives, were able to satisfy demand for only 8 using modern methods. So that is basically what we mean. Out of every 10 who have a demand, we are able to satisfy 8 using modern methods. And we see over time it has been so consistent. Yeah.
PMA says it will spearhead family planning uptake campaigns to ensure many women embrace it.
We need to come up with or accelerate our counseling programs such that we can be able to improve protection and reduce the cost that comes with discontinuation.